right, everyone, welcome to another episode of The Urban Gardener. The weather's starting to get warmer out, and I still got a lot of projects to get done. We got to get finished up with that tomato wall, and we're going to get up on the rooftop and really get set up the pepper collection. So we got a lot of really cool projects going on in the gardens. I hope that you would follow along, hit the subscribe button down below, and follow along with us on our garden adventure. Now that you're all hungry, let's go outside and talk about that garlic. How you doing, Carl? I want to show you this picture here. Check this out. I took that picture when I first started my gardening Facebook group a couple of seasons ago. Now, it was right back there in where is now the mint bed that I planted out my very first garlic. Now, I was just very beginning at knowing anything. I just figured, all right, let me plant these, get them started indoors, like in the 6-packs, just like anything else. And then after they sprout up, go and transplant them outside when I could in the spring. And those plants did not do very well, did not really produce anything, didn't even grow too far when it really came down to it. I just didn't understand what I was doing when it came to growing garlic, so that was one of my very beginner learning periods when it came to garlic. Luckily, though, I did figure it out right away. Missing out in the spring and summertime and not being able to grow those garlic very well, I was able to get the right information, figure it out, and only a few months later, when fall came around, was able to start my next crop of garlic, and that crop did exceptionally well. So now I'm on my second round of growing garlic. One of the things you do have to kind of deal with and whatnot living in the city and living on an alleyway is in some of these little enclaves within the alleys, the homeless find places to sleep. It's very unfortunate, and I hope for that person to find a spot where he is welcome. All right, so today we're out in the urban garden, and we're out here with our plants that have been working hard all throughout the winter and spring. I planted them out actually last fall. That's our garlic in the background there. Now, I planted the cloves of the garlic back in the fall, around the beginning of November for my region. I went and I purchased these garlic bulbs at my local farmer's market, and they're just like any other regular bulb that you could probably get in any other store. I just chose to purchase mine from the local farmer's market, the local family farm, growing them here locally. I figured that would work best in this region and probably get the best results. So I planted those out early in November so that they could get a good start before the winter got going. And at that point in time, they will grow just a little bit as there's no freezes, but garlic really needs that freeze, that cold during the winter time, basically a vernalization in order to induce the plant to grow larger bulbs and grow more during the springtime. Now our plants are doing really well for this time of year. I've already noticed that the first leaves are starting to brown up. We'll look for them, the next couple of leaves to brown up, and by that time there should be maybe a few more leaves up top. We'll have about 6 or 7 nice green leaves, about three to 4 brown leaves, and about that time I think we'll be ready to pull them out of the ground. And that should probably, I think, be about another month or so. So we'll be looking forward to doing that in one of the future episodes. All right, so I do have a video clip of our garlic when it was just sprouting out this last winter. Let's take a look at that. Yep, hiding up underneath of our recent snowstorm. We got our nice little garlic shoots, enjoying that cold weather. Yep, they ought to be up, sprouting up here in a couple of months. Happy for a nice cool winter weather to get them all ready to grow for the season. Alright, we'll catch up with these guys a little bit later. So the variety of garlic I have, I am not sure exactly the exact kind. It's got a bit of a purplish tint to it, but it is a soft neck variety. So basically it's gonna have or not have a hard stem scape come up out of the top like a hard neck variety would. Maybe next year, this next year, I really want to try some hard neck variety garlic in the urban garden. So we've got browning on our first ones here going on, so that'll die off. This next one will, and then this one here. By that time there'll be a few more leaves that'll be out, so we should have about 6 or 7 green leaves, 3 or 4 dark brown leaves by the time those are ready to pull out of the ground. Looking really good. And over here I planted out elephant garlic. Now hopefully I can figure out when to harvest that appropriately. That's something I'm gonna have to do just a little bit more research. I planted this out kind of on a whim without really knowing much, just kind of following the same basic principles of the regular garlic that I'm growing over here. All right, so that's where we're at with our garlic this season. In a couple of months, we'll harvest them up and I'll do an episode on that. I do have one more thing I wanted to show you over here real quick, and one more project that we're gonna have coming up in a future episode of The Urban Gardener. You just gotta be right by my feet, don't you? Whenever I'm outside, this girl's gotta be right by my feet. Right, so one of the other projects I wanted to talk with you guys about, something I might have briefly mentioned in one of the other videos, is I wanted to set up along this back wall behind me blueberries. So I'm going to kind of take over the ground here and work in some blueberry plants. I'm out on the look right now trying to find some, and when we do, I'll get in there and show you that project when we get it going. So yeah, right along here I plan on digging out, I'm thinking about 6 at about 3 to 4 feet in between, right along the fence line there. Basically just taking possession of the alleyway spaces that aren't being used for anything else. As you can see, the alleyway goes here, and there's the cross alleyway that goes that way. We'll pretty much have a pretty nice edible walkway going on in the alleyways here. What are you looking for, bud? All right, so I want to thank you very much for joining me today on our brief episode about garlic and the other things that we got going on in the gardens. I'll see you again next time around. Hungry? Let's go outside and talk about that garlic.